It's Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima. How are you?
Fine. Good morning. Today, on Tuesday, I called out those buying substandard goods abroad and selling here. Today, it's for the loan apps that are posting and calling numbers because, you know, people already call numbers randomly to defraud people. Now, loan apps are calling and they were telling somebody that they did not get his or her name as a guarantor of any loan, that your number is on the person's contact
list.
So he's owing, you know. So I think CBN, this is when CBN should take it up and do something about it before it gets out of hand, because already strange, you just, you know, get strange calls. Having people's numbers and privacy invaded because of, you know, they're on somebody's contact is dangerous.
I think it needs to be discussed as a hot topic because the loan apps are not, it's not under CBN regulation per se, because it's just a private business, and the algorithm knows how many contacts are on the phone, so they call everybody, which already compromises every contact
For a loan,
that
you
they
did
have.
not take permission from him to take. I don't even respond.
I think a guarantor's clause is very clear in any loan arrangement, so not contact.
Hi, Dintakwe. How is everything?
Very well, thank you. Grateful to God. Yesterday, I reignited my acting skills. You know, I used to want to be an actor.
Yeah, I like those videos you posted.
I used to want to be an actor. One time in my life, I have dreamt many dreams. I'm grateful to God for the ones who are manifesting, and who knows?
The ones that are yet to come.
And the ones that are yet to come. Who knows? Well, BC can decide to make me blow in one of our movies and just say, come and be the star. Then I watched the Serpents on Netflix. Pretty Serpents. Ah, man, I think that the production house that has been doing all these remakes is doing really well. It was a bit scary, though, but I like it. I do like the story. I like that at the end of the day, there was sort of like a shift. You know, it was a good one.
I haven't watched it. I have to go watch it.
I have watched it.
How you doing?
My review is different from what you just said, so let me keep my
Bling,
mouth
bling, the same.
Thank you, please. I'm interested in the love letter.
I don't think I have time for the letter.
That's why I'm not giving you banter.
But let me hear your banter. I can always read the letter
anything.
tomorrow.
I'm just good.
No, read it. It's 3 minutes.
This letter is very sweet. Maybe I'll just skip a few things. Said, Mariah, I have found... So somebody sent us a letter, a love letter to the list of Your View. Her name is Mrs. Toyin Esheyin. So she's flew in from the UK yesterday. In fact, she's on flight back already today. I mean, and she was so happy to see us, you know. Said, Mariah, I found joy. Your name is actually acting. Let me skip my own. Let me go to yours. Please, my regards to Nima. She's my second best friend. I love her too. Talk about my financial advisor and business mogul. Mariah, my fashionista friend who loves our environment so much, especially her vultures. And please stop laughing at her. She's dead serious about her environment. BC Obiajilu, my lovely relationship coach, a.k.a. Madam Give Back. Always intentional about the welfare of our dear children. And finally, Auntie Yenny, I want to look more like her when I'm 60. She's still ever active, not retiring anytime soon, working hard and so humble. No airs around her. Always love it. Like, it's a love letter. I'm going to send it to you guys. You guys are really, you know, once in a while when the trolls come and you get upset, this should lift you up. This, I mean, I'm so happy because she feels that she feels that Your View is a ministry and that we're doing so much, that we're touching lives and we're helping families. And she was really, really happy and she was really grateful for the show. So thank you.
Thank you, Mom. God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Okay, on that note, we're going to a quick break. When we come back, it's Thursday. We're gisting all the way. We have 2 hot topics. But first, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're going to start with The Nation. Disquiet as petrol sells for 150 naira per litre at depot. U.S. removes Nigeria from religious freedom violators list. Hashtag NSAS leaked report has errors, says panel member. Lagos 6 restraint. Okunu calls for authentic report. 4 die in another Lagos building collapse. Inspector General, female cops can live with civilian spouses in barracks. And NNPC gets a 104 billion naira loan from Afrexim Bank. Okay, major headline, who has that story?
Yes, so according to The Nation, the NNPC is still rejecting that price has gone up at depots. The NNPC is accusing depot owners of breaching the agreement by increasing the price from 148 naira per litre at depot to 159 naira per litre. That's about 11 naira difference. But the IPMAN, as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association president, confirmed to Nation's reporter that this was the new norm, that, you know, the price of petrol at depots have gone up. And, of course, this will reflect. In states like, cities like Abuja, already they have fuel queues and all of that. But, you know, the NNPC, of course, will be going back and forth and denying this. Either action is taken to make sure that there's availability of this product in the market and, you know, do something about how the price is, or instead of rejecting the news, do something now, because we don't want another December usual this period. We've been able to avoid that December queues, this administration. That's one thing that has, you know, stood out for them.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a viral memo yesterday that came from the Enugu State Police Command saying that women police officers who are living in the barracks with their civilian husbands should vacate the barracks by the 31st of January 2022. That, of course, elicited a lot of response from the public, and they were really upset about it. However, the Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, has said that no police officer in the police barracks across the country will be exited from the barracks, that they have every right to be there, whether their spouses are civilians or not. And he also said that, so he described it as unlawful, discriminatory, obnoxious, reprehensive, and out of tune with the concept of equality in Nigerian constitution, saying that they've had a lot of successful female police officers, top-ranking, who have, you know, gone ahead to become deputy inspectors general of police, DIGs, inspector general of police, commissioners of police, area commanders, divisional police, and this is not the time that we need to start going back. It's like it's steps backwards.
This was an isolated case from Enugu.
Yes, from Enugu State, and he is saying that investigations are ongoing. The person who is in charge will be disciplined appropriately.
Okay, that's good. It's good that we're getting this quick response from the police, because in view of what's happening, we must see that the IG is on top of these kind of things. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to take the building collapse. Another building has collapsed in Lagos. This is like the 4th building collapsing in just 2 weeks since the 21-story building collapsed. This is a 2-story building. It's been under construction for about 2 years. Construction paused and it just resumed. 4 people confirmed dead. They were brought out unconscious, but before they got to the hospital, they were confirmed dead on arrival at the hospital. 5 are getting treatment. There is no more process of recovery. That's the account of everybody there. So it's not like they're trying to recover more bodies from the rubbles. This took place in Sunnyfield Flour Mill Estate, Magbon in Badagry. I'm sure we're going to be waiting for investigations, because we cannot be having this. We need to prevent these kinds of avoidable building collapse, especially on buildings under construction. And it will start by us having a thorough investigation right from the synagogue one. Let there be a disclosure of what happened, what did they find out. We're waiting for the committee.
So the United States Department of State yesterday had removed Nigeria, or listed out a group of countries under a category called I think it's countries of particular concern. That's CPC countries. So they listed out quite a number of countries, and interestingly, Nigeria wasn't part of that list. So they have this category based on countries that violate religious freedom, and so they identify these countries, other countries or non-state actors who, because of their religious freedom violations, merit this designation. But as I said, it was in papers that Nigeria was not in the list, so it means that maybe we have been recognized by the United States as a religious-free nation. Okay, moving on now to The Punch. Nigeria risks U.S. arm embargo over alleged protesters' killings by soldiers. 8 killed vehicles brought as speeding tanker truck collide in Ogun. 4 construction workers die as 2 buildings collapse in Lagos. FG demands probe of Ivorian Cup over jailed Nigerian's death. 8 distances are missing from ex-governor's presidential posters in Abeokuta. FG raises power tariff. December begins free meters purchase. Passengers lament as railway workers begin strike ground services. And Ishaku's aide laments as Cameroonian separatists kill 11 in Taraba.
So the national...
that has not started. They started doing strike.
In fact, the thing is paining me. According to the National Union of Railway Workers, they'll be going on a 3-day warning strike, because on Tuesday, taking their story in the paper where they went to meet with the Minister for Transportation, that's Amici, and, to discuss some of the issues. But they reached a deadlock. They could not arrive at, some solutions. They are only asking for welfare improvement for their workers.
Wow.
Now,
no,
railway workers have been existing. It's just the revamped rails that we're talking about now. And so even those revamped rails, the Lagos, Ibadan, all those they are going to shut them down from today till November 20th. They're asking that the government takes them seriously, and I hope that they do, because instead of answering their issues, government tried to serve them an injunction to stop them from going on strike, which is what their president is also decrying. Let me just say it like that. Okay,
so as a fallout of the report that was released, that was leaked, I would say, because the government is saying they have not officially released, that's the hashtag NSAS report. The United States is likely to put an embargo over their support for our arms. Remember, they will be helping us supplying quite a bit of arms to help to fight the insurgency. So yesterday, the United States and United Kingdom and Amnesty International have called on the Nigerian government to ensure that the panel's report is handled transparently, even as the military and the federal government await the release of the white paper. So yes, we're all waiting for the white paper, but they're also saying that they're also monitoring closely how the army is going to deal with this, because if it's not done properly, they might risk the ban of the support they've been showing us so far with our arms to fight the insurgencies.
Yeah, so power consumers nationwide would likely start to pay for more electricity following the plans by the federal government to review the power tariff. And it's going to be starting, I think, in December. But the federal government is also saying that they have commenced procurement of 4 million meters meant to be distributed free of charge to unmetered power users nationwide. They are also saying that it's not free like that, because they are giving out loans to these discos to get these meters, which they will pay back in over 10 years. Because when I heard free, I was wondering, are we now expected to get it for free? But since they are going to pay, it's just that the rates have been reduced for the discos. So we're likely still going to be buying that. But I'm happy that the distribution has started. They said it's been happening in 3 phases. They had the 0 phase, the one phase, and the second phase. And they just rounded up the 0 phase in October. And they're about to start this one now. So the meters are ready for distribution.
I already saw the 0 phase in my neighborhood. I just came in, and all the houses that did not have before, they were installing. I was like, really? I mean, I want more meters, so I'm already working on it.
Please, I'll take the story, a very sad story of what happened in Taraba State. One of the special advisors to the governor of Taraba, is special assistant to the governor. His name is Joseph Manga. His community is on the border of Nigeria and Cameroon. And his community offered a good service of helping those that have been attacked in Cameroon, housed the refugees from Cameroon in their village. And as a result, a separatist group from the Cameroon side, they are called Ambazonia fighters, attacked the community on Monday night, killing 11 people within the village, as well as the traditional ruler of that village. So this special assistant, Joseph Manga, is saying to the governor that an attack on our village, an attack on Nigeria, a sovereign nation, by another nation, and something should be done about it.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still in Punch. Dr. Nima had a story you want to take.
The federal government, through the office of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, have written to the criminal police organization to investigate the involvement of the police officer who framed up Itunu in her arrest, her trial, and her detention, and maybe later her death. Also, they've presented a protest letter from her family to the High Commission of Ivory Coast in Nigeria here, and Madam Abike has also begged that everything is done by the Commission as well as the government of Ivory Coast to see to the transparency of the autopsy and the hasting up of the autopsy reports to assist in getting justice for her, even though she's passed.
Moving on now to Daily Sun. Security cordons off roads to APC headquarters. Movement meant to deny protesters access to party office. Abia suspends selection of judges, restarts process. Secessionist agitators threats to food security, says Delta government. Banditry intensifies attacks in Niger. Nothing will stop Soludo swearing in says APGA. Janguza 3,000 capacity correctional village ready by April 2022. Police arrest gun manufacturer, POS robbers in Imo. And 5 burned to death as tanker explosions happened in Lagos Expressway. Okay.
Yeah, so 8 people were killed. 15 others sustained different degrees of injury on Wednesday when 2 crashes happened in Ogun State. So the first one was the one that happened at the early hours of the morning between the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, claimed about 5 lives, and it was involved the petrol tanker that was carrying premium spirits and then a truck. So the petrol tanker was trying to overtake and hit the truck. 5 other vehicles that were just passed along the road were also caught, in the accident, and everything got burnt. So the people that they managed to rescue were burnt beyond recognition. The second accident happened around the San Crater area, Ogumake, the same Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Said about 3 people died immediately and 15 others were injured. The vehicle was a Mazda bus that was coming all the way from Ibadan, skidded off the road and hit a Range Rover that was coming from Lagos, and then 3 people died instantly. The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, was really upset about what happened, and he said the contractor that is handling that Lagos-Ibadan Express road will be held accountable for not putting safety signs on the road.
Very important. Okay. The Imo police command has arrested a gun manufacturer fronting as a welder. His name is Ozo Nwako from Isiozi Umuakachi in Isu Njaba Council area of that state. And this was following the arrest of 2 of his customers, Obiaka Uchenna and Michael Ihuana, who are POS, who they caught with POS machines. So I didn't get clarity as to whether they were robbing with the POS machine or they were robbing POS operators within the state. But the police command said that they've been arrested, and the arrest led to the gun manufacturer who fronts as a welder and manufactures weapons for them to carry out their robberies.
That's a good one. Let me take the story, 2 quick stories. Jangazu, a 3,000 capacity correctional village, will be ready for...
Janguza.
Janguza. I mixed it. In Kano State, at 85% completion, the current Minister for Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, gave the update on all the facilities that they are building at the 6th geopolitical zone, new correctional facility. And I want to quote him. He said that this is in line with the NCUS Act 2019, and the goal is to create rehabilitating, reforming, and reintegration of inmates. That decongesting the prisons would help to do these 3 points of the prisons. Also mentioned that the people that escaped from prison have no hiding place, because they will search them out and put them into the new facilities that will be, at least one of them will be ready by next year.
Okay.
Then one more story, please. The Delta State is talking to the Secretary to the State for Delta State, Patrick Uka, and I think it's important because he welcomed officers and students of the senior course 44 Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. And he explained the challenges that the state is facing in security. Now, usually, people that go to Jaji, it's a high-level training, and they go across different states to understand, is a social-geographic integration, so that they will prefer solutions in their research. The Secretary to the State now mentioned that one of the challenges that they are facing, of course, is the clash between herders and crop farmers. And this is, the impact is lack of food security, saying that, and also the secessionist group, the kidnapping, the terrorism, all of these are causing food security challenges that they are doing. He now listed a few things that the Delta State government is doing to ameliorate the challenges being faced within Delta State. But he was asking them that, being exposed to what these problems are, can they also prefer more solutions?
Right. Okay, moving on to Vanguard very quickly. Household security under threat in Nigeria, says World Bank. Picture here of Tony Elumelu. He looks like Nigeria's president, you know? He's visiting the president of Zambia, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, in Zambia. Just looks very presidential, the way he's standing. U.S. removes Nigeria from religious violators list. We want to write another competency test. Kaduna teachers there, Governor El Rufai. 5 burns as petrol tanker goes up in flames in Lagos Expressway. APC crisis latest. Security beefed up around Secretariat over possible attacks. And Justice Odili, attack on judges should never repeat itself, says reps. Okay, major headline. Who has the World Bank story? Yeah, I thought somebody had it. Let's find out.
Okay, I have the World Bank story.
Yeah,
sorry, AK is a hobby. The World Bank says that, Nigeria has suffered increased inflation and insecurity. Household foods have increased because of COVID-19 again, flood and insecurity. But the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics believes that this contradicts their report, saying that there's been a drop in our inflation rate to 15.99% from October last year, when it was 16.63%. And that's for the normal. Food inflation also dropped to about 18.34% from 19.57% from last year as well. So they don't agree with the World Bank. But then in the same report, an analyst, Codros Capital, an investment-based analyst in Lagos, says that we've actually increased prices of farm products from 6 base points in this year alone. So they are agreeing with the World Bank. The World Bank chairperson believes that this is a call-up call for our government for planning, and that we're still dealing with the effects of COVID-19 as well as insecurity in Nigeria. I think these data will help us plan and provide well for our citizens. I think it's very important.
Yes, so Kaduna teachers saw on social media that the Kaduna State government was trying to get them to write another competency test. And so they had a 5-man committee, carry out consultations, and then they were advised not to take that test. So according to them, they are saying that this is just a ploy, and the motive behind the test is for the governor of Kaduna State to downsize them again, just the way he did 3 years ago, that he can't say he wants to carry out another competency test. And a few years back, he said these teachers were competent enough. So you can't keep having competency tests when you have employed competent teachers. And they said also that they responded to, sent him a message that saying, we saw this on social media, how true is it? They did not get a response from the government, only for them to get a timetable schedule of the examinations.
It's not periodic to write tests for promotion. And
I wonder why teachers that give
why
exams.
Teachers are afraid of writing exams?
No, I don't think they're afraid of writing exam. I think it's the modus of the exam that they are writing.
And
so you don't say competency tests for teachers and then you sack them. A few years down the line, you come again, and after you have said you've got incompetent teachers, I know that they have trainings and years. No, that one is not
for firing.
Not for firing, basically. So they are fighting against it. They are saying they are not going to.
We have very little time left. Let's go to Nigerian Tribune very quickly, because there are 2 stories that I think was important for us to mention. The major headline was World Bank. Food inflation could push 6 million more Nigerians into poverty. WAEC NECO toying with lives of varsity-bound students, says Afe Babalola. And there was nothing like there's any time, I think, to take that story. But I think I won't take the Afe Babalola story. The founder of the Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Are Afe Babalola, was saying that please, WAEC and NECO are toying with the lives of these youngsters because the results are not out. He understood the fact that many of them, WAEC conducted examinations that they usually do in April, between April and June. But this year they did it, I think, between August and October. But nevertheless, they should still try to get out the results as soon as possible, because the results of these exams, the kids might miss out on the admissions on universities if these results don't come out in time. So please, we are also adding our voice to that. I think NECO is not out. Please, it's important that we get these results out so that these children don't lose a year in school.
Please, I'll take the major headline. So the World Bank said that the rising food prices would be pushing more Nigerians into poverty, approximately about 6 million. The title of the presentation was COVID-19 in Nigeria, frontline data and pathway to policy. So in the past 24 months, we've had rising inflation on the cost of food. Even between September and October, it rose by a few percentage. Currently, about 20% increase in the cost of food. Consumer price index is, like I did a post explaining inflation on my social media page, because it is affecting everybody. I was looking for the preferred solution on how to go about it. I did not see yet.
Okay, all right. That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's Thursday, and joining this gist day is our dear friend, broadcaster, presenter of Foodies and Spice, the beautiful Gina Ehiko-Diojo. Welcome to the show. How have you been?
I'm fine, I'm doing great.
Hi, it's Foodies and Spice.
Foodies and Spice. Oh.
How is it? Doing well?
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So today, we saw this gist on social media. This man, right, was complaining because his wife got a car from her brother. Now, this is the situation. You want a car as a wife. Your husband, for whatever reason, cannot afford the car. And then you're using your leg up and down Lagos State. And you have a brother who is well-to-do, who can hook you up with a car. The question is, should you collect? That's one. Number two, you want to travel to the abroad for summer holidays. You know, your kids, all your friends are children are traveling every year. And you can't afford, your husband, based on his budget, he cannot afford to carry children to ordinary Ghana because you guys are still building. And you're not mad at that. You know, you understand, you're on the same pace. Don't worry. But you have an older brother who is saying, my children are going. Let me get visa for your children. Let us all go there for the summer holiday. And husband says, no. The question is, as a woman, should you accept this gift from your brother? Or should you say, no, just like my husband, and stand with your husband? That's the question for today. You can call us on let me find the number, 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read the messages. So who wants to go first?
Let's put it in.
Nima.
Let's put it in compartments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your husband cannot afford to buy you a car, but you have the ability to, you have the job, you have the means, no need to reject a car gift. So that your brother that buy car will not be the one to maintain it forever. And you don't want a car maintenance to become an issue if you're a dependent of your husband. So
you accept a gift from your husband,
yes,
brother?
Because I have a job, I can afford the car, I can service
Okay, so you have to you're saying make sure you can maintain your car yourself. But no, don't give me a car, I can't maintain, I have to keep going back to my brother for maintenance.
Don't fight infertility. If your brother will not be maintaining the car forever, maybe your husband is making sense.
Okay.
Now, for the vacation thing, if they did not ask your husband money for any of the costs, including travel insurance, why can't you travel?
So,
okay, let me come to
I sort of don't. We need to be sensitive to a man's ego. When a man's wiring in Africa, a man's wiring in Nigeria is to be a provider. That's the way they've been brought up. That's what makes them feel manly. When they can't provide, it affects them. So when you are dealing with a man who would love to provide, not the irresponsible ones, the ones that really would love to provide, who are providing but cannot do the glam, and then a family member of the woman is bringing glam, and the man's ego would reject it. It might not be realistic. A woman might not like it, but I think that you and your husband have become a team, and the goal should be, I need to protect my husband. Yoruba proverb says, if you sell your family cheap, you can't buy them back. So if you now say, oh, my husband cannot afford the car, you now collect car. Then the other day, your brother now comes and says, who is this? We don't want you in our house or something. If it respects your husband, you are the one that sold your husband cheap to the family member. So I think that it's important that we have the conversation. Now, I've had situations where I would feel like, oh, Mr. Mark, let's go to this place. You say, like, so you will just go, will not spend any money. Like, even if they say we should come for free. I remember last Christmas we were at Landmark. My husband felt really uncomfortable that we must carry something. We can't go empty-handed to, even if they say we're sponsoring everything for you. You, as a responsible man, will feel uncomfortable not contributing in any way to that vacation. And so, to protect the man's ego, I think that you might accept to go with the
stay, don't know summer.
Just do what you can afford, what you as a family can afford.
Let me come to you, Gina. Let me come to BC first.
Okay, so I think people should learn to relax and live the soft life. If things are difficult and you have somebody who is willing to make it easier for you, why don't you just relax and enjoy it? It's not, everything is not ego. We're not going to heaven or hell with this ego. Calm down. What I would expect is, I know that sometimes when you have a family member that's well-to-do and they want to surprise you with something, what they do is they liaise with the husband. Hey, I want to get something for my sister. What do you think? my sister would like. They now plan it and surprise the woman. Do you understand? But maybe they do not have a relationship. Maybe they are not close or something has happened. Or sometimes you're married to a family and they don't like you. Maybe that's the case. That's why he just went ahead and bought the car. But the woman should find a way, like Nima said, if she can maintain the car, find a way to convince the husband that is my brother now. Me, as I am sitting down here, I'm praying that I have brothers that will buy me something.
I'm praying for my
brothers that will send me something. Brothers that will make my life easy. Do I have to be the only one hustling everything?
Okay, let me come to Gina. Gina, what are your thoughts on this?
It seems like she just took the thoughts of me. Why do you need to suffer? You don't need it. Now, if a husband or a brother decides to give me a car, I will gladly accept it. And I expect my husband to accept it. If he cannot afford it, two of us are supposed to cruise the car. You understand? That means we will not jump bus anymore. We won't do Uber anymore. Our life is there, and we just go and say, uncle or brother, thank you very much. It's not supposed to be hard.
God sent.
Going by this man, whether we like it or not, the ego is there. And I hear you. You can't carry ego to heaven. But for the sanity of your marriage, for the peace of mind of your marriage, I mean, before I met my husband, I used to travel every year. I tell everybody, every year, today I'm going to London, I'm going to Dubai, I'm carrying my booty. But when I got back, the two things I love the most, he said, auntie, calm down, we can't afford it. Travel, you can't do. Going out every 2 weeks to go and do dinner in one restaurant, we can't do it. I stopped it. Now, I had to stop it because I understood that we are not financially there yet. But if I have a brother who now says, I'm sending you tickets, wouldn't that look as disrespect to the decision myself and my husband have made? Okay, Morale, let us take it easy. Let's not go down. Just calm down.
Flesh and blood will not reveal this to you.
Will I not be disrespecting my husband's decision that way? Calm down. Don't go yet until we can afford it. Then you can travel.
That's what they say, komoju komora. That means you don't know face, you don't know body.
If we try to flip it,
yes.
If it was the husband's family that decides that we want to give our brother a car,
he supports his ego. He beefs up his ego as a man, as a provider.
Can I, as a woman, now say,
don't take that car, we can't afford it.
We don't even need it. Take it back.
No, now.
So we understand male ego. Yes. We totally do. But I think at this point, 2021,
they should watch that ego.
We should understand this economy that we are in. When everybody things come to you,
because accept it.
Accept it.
My brother,
it's the gift from the Lord.
So, okay, I'll go on a break. If the gift comes, right, and you take it, but disrespect follows it.
Which one?
Would you like it? Stay with us.
You see future.
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the male ego here, and we're talking about if you accept this help from family, doesn't it get accompanied with disrespect for your husband? Let me take this call from Philip, then I'll come to the ladies. Hello, Philip, are you there? Hello, Philip, you're live. Hello? I think he's listening to the TV.
Yes. Marriage.
I just feel like when we have conversations regarding somebody helping you, I believe that in life, there will always, God will send somebody to you. He's a human being that God will use to help you. But when it comes to families, there's always this, what Yoruba call iregun. I don't know how to say it in Siregun, how to say it in English. Like, someone would call out the good I've done for you. Oh, that's your first car. Is it not me that bought it for you? Oh, that's your first trip abroad. It was me that did it for you. This your something is me that did it for you. I feel that you need to protect the respect of your husband. And because you understand, if your brother really wants to help, if a woman is in a place where a brother really wants to help, she should find a way to ensure that the help comes to the family without it coming from the label of, this is the person that my brother helped us to do this thing. My brother, I won a competition. My office gave me this.
She should lie.
It's not, no, it's wisdom. So you find a way to ensure that the help. No, because what I realize is that because you need to support, in most cases, and I'm sure the men will call into the show and let you understand, because there are several stories of how this thing plays out in other ways where you have received help from someone and then they backlash you with that same comment.
Let me come to Gina, then I'll come to you.
Yeah, I think the best thing that should happen to any marriage is total honesty.
Okay.
Don't mask anything. My brother gave me this thing. My brother gave it to me. Now, if we cannot sit and discuss and agree on why I should take it, which I'll be very, very vexed.
If you don't take it.
If we don't take it and we don't have it. Because what's the ego for really? That's where we started from. What is it for? We cannot be suffering when we have seen a solution.
But the question is the only one man that have ego?
Women too, we have.
I don't understand.
Women have ego. So I don't know why the male own has to be the one that should be revered or sacrificed.
So when it looks at it, let me paint this picture, Nima. This man doesn't have the money. You married him because he is just struggling, and you trust that he would get there one day. Why you as your wife, can't you be patient to work with him at his own pace and work together? Why must you fast track it by bringing wealth from your father's house to come and disrupt what is growing in your own house? That's the question. Yes.
Me, I'm a Muslim woman.
Yes.
We bring wealth from our father's house to make our houses comfortable. They escort you with your wardrobe,
with things now,
with your things to your husband's house. So that you married a man, you must live within his means, no doubt.
Yeah.
But you must not now force hardship. It's even wrong in my religion to force hardship on a wife that you married from means because you are not within that means. If the means is not causing you any hardship, if the family is willing to maintain the status of their family for their daughter, your own is to enjoy it.
Okay, so let me now help you go further. Wait, Nima. So finally, we've accepted, collect the gift. Okay? Your wife now has a car from her brother. Now, the disrespect now comes in, where brother comes in and says, "After your first car was not of me. What's your problem? Why are you talking to me like that?" What happens in that kind of situation?
So let me help you here. I like to handle issues as they come. I don't sit down and start imagining the issue, preempting the issue before it comes. If it now gets to a point where you disrespect my husband, I will stand up as a woman. Uncle, is it because you gave me car? Come and carry. You don't talk to my husband like that. And I would even expect that you, as a family member, you know that I honor my husband. Because what I do is to present him in a very good light. Even if we don't have money, it doesn't matter. Money will come. If you want to support it, I will accept it. But if that support comes with disrespect, take your thing back. We will make our own. But may I also say that because you have married a woman does not mean you should separate her from her family. It's blood, though. It's not another man that is giving your wife a car. It's her blood. Her blood. If we were all rich at the same level and you gift a car, do you think this would be a problem? It will not be a problem. Now we'll be doing competition of gifts. I give you Range Rover this year, you give me Lexus next year. Is it because of
Godwin, are you there?
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is my first time calling.
Welcome to the show.
In fact, I like your conversations. But one thing I want to say, you know, this thing is not about ego. What the man is seeing might not be the same thing that the woman is looking at it in that way. A good example, supposing you that feel like you want to travel, and your husband said, no, don't go, because it has happened, such incident has happened. And when you go there with your children, so one of them falls sick and dies. How then will you explain it to your husband? Because in the first case, your husband said, don't go. Now you are coming back in that situation. How do you manage it? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about preempting disrespect. Yes. If there has never been in your attitude or in interactions with your spouse, from your family, and any form of disrespect, why does your husband feel that way? You know, an insecure person is different from disrespect.
All of them join,
So now, somebody who already thinks that it is even a disrespect that they are offering you a car, that's the problem. It's because they're offering you a car out of his insecurity, he feels disrespected. That how dare you offer a car? He doesn't understand. Nima,
this disrespect is not verbal. It's not even the man doesn't. The brother doesn't have to say anything. Wait. So the brother doesn't have to say jack. Family doesn't have to say anything. But the fact that you are in a gathering and all of you are together, and you know, like, the car we brought here was bought by my wife's husband.
Is it also disrespect? Is it also disrespect? It's the feeling. If your brother starts a business for your husband, or gets him a job.
If you teach how to fish or you get a job is a different thing because you
It's what people will say that you're afraid of. People will still talk.
Hold on. You respect that this person has skills or the person has value to bring to the table.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is imagine all of you go for vacation together and then everybody is speaking, they're trying to shop, you cannot shop because it's not you that came to the vacation.
We don't have it, I cannot shop.
We cannot take away ego and emotions from life. Yeah. It's not rational. You cannot subject it into this is how the person should behave. Why are they behaving like this? Many times we don't like it, but we must understand that it is there. It's like saying the identity of self, and we should respect it. Now, if you want to protect your marriage, I always feel, find a way to, if you cannot find a way to compromise with your spouse, listen to him and protect him. It's not that you should not start feeling bad or feeling embittered because your husband did not allow you to travel. I could have traveled around the world. No, we are taking this for the team. We will get to this point over time.
Okay, let me come to Gina.
Yes, I think maybe we should now come to our personal, ourselves now, both male, female. Work on yourself.
Thank you.
How do you perceive things or accept things that are thrown at you? When someone tells me, oh, Gina, I bought you your first car. Oh, thank you. No, be you first, they do one. You do well, God bless you.
But Gina, you and I know that not all husbands are like that. We know, listen, let us be really ill. There are some men that that thing will affect them. Yes, you are right. There's a way you can work over it.
That's what I just said. He should work on himself.
Because can work on themselves.
It's not only my brother that will be his problem in life.
Yes.
There are so many people outside. Your boss, everybody. You understand? Then we have a lot of people who wants to bring his life. Everybody wants to work and bring you down. So you work on yourself.
Anna, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mariah. First and foremost, I'd like to say that Yoruba calls something arifin. Some of these things used to cause arifin.
Yes.
You know, but then you would know a family member who will give you arifin.
You would know.
Family members who would insult you later on with what they have given.
Yes.
And they are all, and you know those ones. Those are the type to avoid. Now, as a man who has ego, if your in-law wants to take your wife, which is his sister, and your children abroad, or even if the invitation is for the entire family, including you, the best you can do is say, I know the go. Do you understand? You just keep your ego in check. But that's his sister, and those are your kids. It's a thing of pride for me to say, oh, my kids went abroad for summer. Let them go and enjoy. Do you think those children would be happy with you if they miss that thing because of their ego?
I know that's right.
For the car thing, you know,
I've seen
men who their wives have been given cars by their siblings. The worst they do is that the man never ever drives that car. That doesn't mean you will stop the gift from coming. It's a gift from her brother. And like somebody said just now, if the coin was flipped, the other way, and it's the man's family that is giving him a car, will the wife have the guts to reject it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's go to the wealthy and how they do things. Because some of this ego thing is poverty that causes it. Honestly. Because when you are marrying into a certain family and the father-in-law decides for your wedding gifts the daughter a car, gives you people a house in somewhere like Banana Island, would you be saying ego? You will not collect it. Or you tell the father you will not marry her again because you not take her to Mushi.
Have I not told you about the wedding on that day?
Yes,
where the girl don't want to go in The girl has a house in what's it BGC?
No, that's the girl's house. The father decides to give. That's my wedding gift for my daughter. I'm giving you people a house. I'm giving you people a car. What would you do in that case? I think we put a lot of responsibility on the women. Now we go marry. Now we go cook. Now we go still manage ego. Now make it easy for us. So hold on. As you are raising your boys, let them understand that help can come from anywhere. Be open. You know you're hardworking, except you're lazy. You know you're hardworking. You know you will not beg. But if help comes, don't reject it.
What about Arifi?
Hold on. Hold on. I've said this thing before. I remember when we started life. I was married into my father-in-law's house because he did not want to buy. There was no money to buy a house or money to build at the time. We're just starting. And some people were like, why will you be married into your father-in-law's house? It doesn't make sense. Luckily for me, the school where I was teaching gave me an apartment. And we were squatting there. We swallow ego. ego no they buy bread. So we're able to plan ourselves and it became better. So if you understand who you are, you know we had a goal. But imagine at that time, somebody said, let me give you a house. I will now sit down and say, instead of squatting,
the thing is, people don't want to own their truth.
You should calm down, I beg.
Own your truth. You live in a one-room apartment. You go out, somebody now says, hey, you that you want. Why is the shame? It's your truth.
It's your truth.
Now my one-room apartment. Now body go wear cloth. Cloth no go wear body. Now the body cloth they wear. You go own them. Yeah, okay, yeah, your car is, that's my car.
Yes, sir.
I not borrow now be shame. Thief now be shame. You own your realities, your own truth.
Yeah.
If you travel on that vacation and you cannot shop, but you go vacation.
Yes, so
you go
let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of accepting gifts from family, especially in marriage. So let me come to Tokwe.
Yes, so I was talking about ideal situation where you have married someone, you can have that conversation with. Some people are good people, but they have ego. And you've married them. They have other good points around them. So you're trying to deal with this situation. While people are watching, you have to manage the situation. You're not going to say, because my husband has ego, I will throw away all the other good things that come with him. You will find a way to manage. This is I've married a man that has ego. He's a wonderful father. He's providing to the best of his capacity. Will live within what he can afford for now, and I will support him till he can afford more. One. Number two, if the husband had a very good relationship with the brother, there probably would be no bone of contention, because it would have been a conversation the man would have had, the brother would have had, that I want to buy my sister something. No. The reason there might be bone of contention might be because there isn't a good relationship within the first place. I also believe that many times we cast our own expectations of what should be ideal on other people. And it helps to understand everybody is coming from their life experiences. You have no idea what your husband has seen that is making him react the way he is.
Okay, so
listen.
So what I'm hearing Tucker say is that we're all different. We have different kind of spouses. Yeah. So your spouse might be the kind of guy who's liberal, maybe really has a good relationship, doesn't matter. But if you have a spouse whose ego is way high and he has issues with that, understand the husband you have. Don't go and accept gifts from your brother. Don't say because he's not helping us from this property. Don't go and jump into it because you're going to cause problems for your home. That's
I will drag my husband to therapy.
That's
to therapy.
To go and learn.
We need to workshop.
Okay, I'll take a call now. I'll come to you, Gina. I think it's Victor, I believe I have. Good morning, Victor. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hi, this is actually my first time calling.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. All the points you guys have basically raised this morning are all valid points. But there's one thing I want us to also pay attention to. What is the story question? What is the relationship between the husband and the family of the wife? Because I feel if they have a good relationship and the man doesn't feel spited by the gifts, then this thing shouldn't come up. Like the caller said last time, if the gift and the wife should not be a problem. But if the husband sees that gift,
it's breaking, Victor. I can't hear you. I'm so sorry. I couldn't hear it.
Do we have time for a few messages?
Gina,
Yes. So my question now is, if my brother decides to buy me a dress or a slippers, if he stays abroad and send to me, does it need to get permission?
No, my husband can afford that now. I can afford. It's not a big deal. Because I can afford the vacation.
Okay, because it's a car. That means I'm not good for big things. It's only small things.
Why is it
small things like dress?
It's true.
The point is that I can afford the dress, but I can't afford the car. So why don't you wait for me to afford the car?
So and I buy you
that I can afford
that you should get.
Wait until your husband can also be buying you.
We are all aiming high in life. At this point, we cannot get it. Now, someone who can help me just get that thing that we can manage. See, my brothers, in case people are listening, I deserve a car.
This is the same ego that makes a man say the wife cannot earn more than them. It's the same ego
Yes.
that makes a man say that the wife cannot, go on trips because he cannot afford it. It's the same ego that makes a man start envying things that happen around the wife's family. It's the same ego. It's the same
At the worst case
So
of
the ego
school.
is the problem.
At the worst case of
Exactly.
school, you live in Badagry or somewhere where the school is not so good, and you insist on that substandard school where your wife and her job can afford to give your children
Good school for the children. It's the same ego.
not looking at it.
The root cause is insecurity, which needs to be dealt with because it will, like she said, it will go on other cases. The boss tomorrow cannot give you a gift. Any other person cannot do something your husband cannot do. There's a message here I saw. I don't know if I can quickly, but I just read it. Yes. So, and he said he bought the sister a chair because their chair was bad, and the husband got upset and was sitting on the floor for like 1 week.
So I like the last point you made because that's the real crux of the problem. So yes, you have that issue of insecurity that you don't want your wife to collect this gift, but the real issue is that you're insecure about a lot of other things. So how you do one thing, how you do other things. So
find out.
they have to now find a way to step back and say, what else am I being insecure? What else am I being insecure about?
But the solution will not come from you trying to collect. The solution will come from you understanding and seeking how to get someone who the spouse, who your husband respects, to intervene and have that conversation to boost his ego, help him understand that this is a reaction from insecurity. Not because sometimes when we give advice, it will be like we're breeding rebellion. Oh, how can you say that man is a wicked man? Somebody that has been managing himself and starts looking at the husband like, my husband is a wicked person. Well, the husband is probably dealing with his own insecurities that he needs to work with. Every man with a kettle. All of us, man and woman, get it done when they manage. So the point is, all of us are on a journey of growth, and we must always encourage one another towards growth.
So if you have a husband like that, so let's say if you have a husband like that, don't go and say, let's collect the gift. Know that's where he is right now. Work on him, find people who can support him to the point where he'll get to that level.
Gift, you go miss gift first. See you language.
No, you can't collect the gift.
Wait,
if you have that kind of husband,
one cannot they do convoy you. Family is bond.
Thank you, Nima.
You divide them, you people will fall. Let's wait.
Everybody.
As you marry me now, you know me family with my brother. Wait, let me explain what I'm saying.
Immediate family.
If your language to your husband is, oh, my brother loves me, I have been the Ada of my family. I have done so much for my family, and they decided to reward me in my time of need. Showing your family, showing your husband that your own family where you are from, you people help each other. The husband cannot say that because you have married me now, help from your family to you is cancelled. Can go to other people. No, now. You understand? Language is everything.
Okay, so it's how you communicate it also to your spouse. Okay, well,
my family, all of them are driving big cars. They don't say that, wow, it's only you coming to family meeting on your foot. If I can afford it, I'll buy my family members who don't have cars. So that all of us are on the same level. One husband cannot reject the car. But we need to do convoy.
Okay, all right. On that note, thank you. I think we can wrap up on this. So take the one that resonates with you. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So another story caught our attention about a man who isn't afraid that his brothers take over all his properties when he dies. He said that he's afraid that if his wife finds love again, her new husband will have access to all his properties, and he'd rather that not happen. So our conversation here is, how do we understand how to secure our husband's properties in the case where they pass on? And we'll be having a lawyer who's going to give us some kind of education on this. So I think I have with us, let me get her name right, I have Mrs. Olukemi Eweje. She is she's specialization at an estate succession planning, probate, and administration of estates. Welcome to the show, madam. Let me just...
Thank you.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So you are the principal partner, Median Legal, and your area of specialization is estate and succession planning, probate, and administration of estate. So you're the perfect person for this conversation because in a situation where a woman loses her husband or even a husband loses his wife, and where they die interstate, what happens? Because this person's tweet was quite important. He's saying that I would rather die, leave my property to my brothers, knowing that they will take care of my own children. Because if I leave it to my wife, she will remarry, and then all my property will go to some other man. And that's the fear of this man in particular. So let me hear your thoughts and reactions to this first before we go on.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on. Well, I guess it's his personal prerogative what he wants with whatever he has left behind. But the truth is, if you have a family, you have your children and your wife or your spouse now, your thinking is not, oh, when I leave, I want to leave them at the mercy of some people. You want to think that to a large extent, you have a control over how things would happen when you're not there. So if you leave without leaving a plan at all, then your assets go into interstate. And for them to legally transact with your assets, they would have to obtain letters of administration. That is on one hand. When the letters are now obtained, you now talk about the method of distribution, who gets what, and how would that be determined. So most times, especially in this part of the world, it is your native law and custom that dictates what you would get. So imagine if your wife had all girls, and by your culture, female children, even though that has been abolished now by the Supreme Court, female children do not inherit. So you are saying in essence that, look, what I've left behind, I'm not leaving anything for my children. Let's even leave your wife now. Let's even focus on the children you brought into this world. And they don't get anything because in your wisdom, you believe that your brothers will do right by you. That, I think, is a bit selfish. Normally. Because you shouldn't assume that people will do what you want. Even the devil does not know the intentions of a man until it's been expressed. So you can't say that 100% your family will be taken care of. So for me, the tweet is coming from an ignorant point of view, because he believes that, well, they will do right by him. But if anything we've seen in all our lives is anything to go by, we know that people change when things of inheritance come up, whether you are educated or uneducated.
Okay, let me get a few more questions in for you.
Soma, I like the angle that you just took now, that it's quite ignorant, because I've seen situations where a man dies and the family members who were all lovey-dovey would suddenly change and become vipers because of property. How do you think we can begin to sensitize these men to understand that the only person who really has, a woman cannot abandon her child. Even the scripture says it. The only person who really has the interest of the children is the one who bore them. How do we start changing their mindset so that you won't be thinking of leaving property for your brothers and not your wife when you die because of your children?
Well, we can only educate them and tell them the consequences of these things. But this thing is so funny that you see it happen over and over and over again. So you witness one, there are a group of people there and they've seen, oh, look at how terribly they're treating this man's family. They don't live there going to do the right thing. They still leave everything, and then the same circle continues. So I think, the best we can do is to keep reiterating the point that you just need to have a plan. What's the essence of accumulating anything if your plan is not to secure your family, at least the immediate family that you have brought into this world when you are no longer there? So if you think that, oh yeah, my brothers, my sisters, or somebody is going to take care of them, then you're really setting yourself up for failure. Because if you can look at things from the other side when you leave this world, then you would regret it. And
but the risk this man expressed was that the wife will remarry, and then a new man takes over. Isn't that something? Can he protect himself from that?
Well, that's why you have a plan. So if your fear is that you don't want it to go to your wife's new husband, the same way women fear that if they leave anything, their husbands will marry and share it with somebody else, then you plan for your children. What he's in essence saying is that he knows his brothers will take care of his children, not even his wife, except they inherit his wife, because under some cultures, some women are inherited. So you're saying that I want to leave something, whatever I leave, I want it for my children. Now, we've seen places where people are even in their wills, they say, I leave it to my wife, for her lifetime if she does not remarry.
Exactly.
Where she remarries, it goes to my children. So there are mechanisms to put in place if your fear is that, oh, you don't want her to share it with some other man. But I think if the interest of your children is what you have at heart, then you would ensure that you couch it in such a way that it secures your children even after your wife decides to move on with her life one way or another. Right. You cannot say, oh, because she was married, it says till death do us part. So death has come and you are parted. She is free to go on with her life, the same way you are free to go on with your life if it was the woman that passed on. But then secure your children, and there are different means of doing that. You can do that in a will. You can do that with a trust.
Right. Let me get a scheme of.
There's so many ways.
So technically, I understand you sort of answered the question, which is putting in clause to cover the period of if she remarries, or specifically designating the will to the children and then providing funds for the wife while she's single. Is it possible that in cases where the wife is willed to the brother, is there anything a woman can do in that case legally to ensure that she's not willed like a property, or if the clause is attaching her stipend from the will to being single and she wants to marry, what is the legal frame for her to still have stake in the property even if she gets married? Is it possible?
Okay, so because the thing about the position of assets is your personal desire, and it's what you wish to do. So it's something I have accumulated. It's something I determine how I distribute. If, to me, I believe that, look, the only reason why I'll leave anything for you is if you stay unmarried and just take care of the children. I don't think, either way you should be fighting that, because if, for example, we built this house together and you want to leave it, if you die and we jointly own it, it becomes mine automatically. Yeah. So that is even out of it. If it is something you have worked for solely, like some investment you have, let's say you have 100 million somewhere, and you're saying that, look, every month give my wife 1 million naira. However, once she gets married, that 1 million naira should now go to my children. I think that's a fair position. I don't think you're saying that, oh, you want to move on with your life and still, it's more emotional and sentimental than any legal framework. Okay. It has nothing to do with what the law says. The law cannot compel a person to give. In fact, the law cannot compel the man to leave anything for his wife or his children. That's the truth. Because if you write a will and say, I'm not giving any of my family members anything, I'm leaving it to charity, that's what's going to be upheld. Nobody is really going to, except they say, oh, the man was not of a sound mind, or there was some undue influence. But if he was in his right frame of mind and wrote a will and said, I'm not leaving anything to anybody, that is what will be upheld. Okay. So it's just a desire. Yeah.
All right.
So, for the purpose of information, I'd like you to talk about children outside wedlock. So let's assume a man has a child before he marries, or while married has a child, and because of status wants to provide for that child, but not within the will. What can he do while he's alive? Other forms of instrument that he can do while he's alive to provide for that child, so that we don't have conflict of marriage act and all of that, where the wife says, everything is mine.
Well, even where there is a child out of wedlock and the man dies intestate, the child is also entitled to inherit from the assets of the father. There is nothing like an illegitimate child. The law does not recognize it. The Constitution frowns against it. So you cannot discriminate a child because of the circumstances of their birth. That has long since been abolished in this country and most developed countries. So the fact that the child was born out of wedlock and you can provide for the child in your will. What I have a problem with personally that I try to advise against is, if you have not brought this child out in your lifetime, there is no need springing surprises on your family when you are not there, because you are not bold enough to do it anyway. Have a separate plan, e.g., set up a trust for the child, appoint a guardian, or transfer assets to the guardian of the child so that they hold it in trust for the child until the child is of age. That's where the child is a minor. Where the child is not a minor, just give the child what you will give the child. Leave your immediate family that you are not bold enough to tell that you have a family out of it, so that we're not all sitting down somewhere one day and they're reading a will and they say, to my son or to my daughter that I gave birth to 10 years ago with XYZ, and they were hearing for the first time that you have another family or you have another child. So you can do that quietly. But if, of course, everybody knows, oh, you have children with other people, all well and good, you introduce it into your will and you give them what you will give them. In fact, where there is no will and you're filling the letters of intestate, that's when you're applying for the letters of administration. One of the questions there will be to list children born out of wedlock. And where these children are not listed, they can actually oppose your application because they are also entitled to inherit from the asset, from the estate of their father.
Thank you very much. Let me go on.
So I hope that answers that question.
Yes, it does. It does. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing inheritance, and I think I'll let our guests go at this point. We'll be speaking with a principal partner, Median Legal, whose area specialty is in estate, succession planning, and probate administration of estates. Thank you so much, Madam, for joining us. Madam Oluwakemi Eweje. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much. I'll let you go at this point.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, then. Thank you.
So I'm bringing the conversation back to the ladies because there are different perspectives. You know, we've heard from the lawyer. We know what is legally obtainable. But there's a perspective that I worked as a man all through my life. I've worked successfully for like about maybe 15 years or 10 to 15 years. And I have a house. I have cars. I have shares. I have this. I have that. And then now that I'm settled, I bring in my wife and I marry her. And within 2 years, I die. Now, the family is saying, the family who has supported me, sent me to school, maybe my brother gave me a loan and I started, or my sister gave me something, and they saw me work all through these years and build this industry. Suddenly, you married, the wife dies within 2 years, and they say everything you worked for goes to her. That's the bone of contention. Hey, well, that's the emotional element that the law maybe doesn't recognize. And that's what I want us to discuss. Do you therefore feel that a woman in that situation should take everything, possibly then remarry, and then this new husband would have access to what this man worked for? So the family feels cheated. We supported this man to the point where he is. Why, therefore, shouldn't that property come to us so that we can make sure the kids are fine? That's the emotional angle that I would like us to touch on.
So yes. There are two that I've experienced personally. My auntie inherited an estate from one of her husbands because of the only child he had. She had other children. But the only child that man had before he died was the child she had for him. And so he left his entire estate to her, hoping that the best of life will be given to his child. That's not the story today. Now, a woman worked all her life with the support of her family to acquire wealth, but she was childless. And as soon as she dies, the man says, she married me under the act, takes everything, and her aged mother is just looking. So those two things will not let me be emotional, but calculative about everything that you do. I don't like to control what is outside my control. So what happens after I die is maybe out of my control. But I do not want to die and see my loved ones, which includes my own family, aside my children now. Yeah. My mother, my father, my siblings.
Left to suffer.
That's the way, should not be left to suffer just because I married somebody. So you have to put it in writing. That's the bias that we have under the law, under the Marriage Act, because your husband becomes next of kin. And if you do not leave a testament, the man just becomes your next of kin, and to the exclusion of every other person. Right. So those people now have to be the ones appearing before court to either contest these applications or say, okay, we're also dependent and looking for other sections.
All right, so let me come to the ladies here. I don't know if you want to take this. I'm ready. Because so as a wife, you feel, I've been married to him 2 years. In these 2 years, I bought him 3 children, maybe one set of twins, and I have 3 kids. I have the authority, the constitutional authority to take everything from him, even regardless. In that situation, how would you handle it?
So I think we all need to be fair to one another. She has handled the aspect of this one, but there's another scenario where you started from the scratch with this particular man. You people built everything you have together, and now he's worried that after he dies, he will leave you to inherit what you built together. And that is why people say, as a woman, make sure you have your own thing. Because anything can happen. You can never predict the heart of a man. Anything can happen and they say, okay, I want to give this to my family, forgetting that you labored. Because everything you bore, everything you people have came from the union of you two. Even if you were a full-time housewife, if you did not give him that peace, he wouldn't go out and make that money. So that is another scenario where women need to now begin to protect
that first scenario.
themselves. So their first scenario is simple. You said, so for me.
As a 2-year-old wife, what would you do?
So for me, as a 2-year-old wife, I know that I did not build whatever you had. I came and met some things. So whatever the law or the will says to me, I'll be okay with it. I don't have a problem. Whatever share you want to give to me, I will not drag, because I know I just came and I did not work with you. My problem will be where we started from the scratch, like I have started now. That is where I'll put my foot down and fight that fight. But if I had come in and you had built your wealth, I'm not calculating those ones amongst the things I have brought in. So I'll be lenient and understanding enough to say, okay, whatever I get is fine.
Okay, so here I want to give kudos to fathers who raise strong daughters. Growing up, my dad will always say, I do not have money to give to you, but you know school, you're going to go to school. You're going to be strong. And, you know, he just keeps putting that in your head. Now, bad things happen. You are a young woman. Let's say you've gone to school, did all the things your father asked you to go, and you go into marriage. 2 years, your husband is gone. You're married into a very wealthy family, and I'm sure, hopefully, when you were coming there, you knew that you did not bring anything there. If he decides, you know, because dead people, they can't do anything. He decides that he makes an arrangement for his brothers to take everything, forgetting that you have kids for him. Let him just go to the judgment gate. Receive his judgment. Take your kids.
And take care of yourself.
And take care of yourself. That's why you have to be strong before you go into any marriage. Properties,
not a big deal.
Something that will still get spoiled, something that everybody will still die and leave. No, I want to go there as a strong woman. Now, if you now decide that you want to give to me, fine. But you see, where we build it together, that's where we have a problem. That is where we have a problem. I like fairness.
Yes.
Like if we built it together.
But as a legal wife, I mean, I'll come to you. As a legal wife, you can contest it. You take everything. Yes. Even if you are just 2-year-old.
Yeah,
as a legal wife,
let's be fair. Let's be fair.
A will that they wrote.
That you...
Sorry, so let me take that again, Tokwe. If I'm a 2-year-old wife and the family is coming saying, no, she cannot collect it.
She has not born child.
She has not been born child. She has not worked. She doesn't work. She doesn't own this property. Can me as a wife contest it and get that property?
Are we talking of the property that the man owned before I came in? Let's assume the man was a businessman, independent of family members. He made his wealth on his own.
No, you can't know independent.
Just like you said, it is your personal property. Only you have the right to disburse it how you want. If the man chooses to write a will to give his wife, family can't contest. And if he chooses to write a will to give his family, unfortunate for wife. True. Because once he leaves it as an instruction, his last wish and testament, that's it.
Yes, so that's why I believe that it's very important for people to write wills and for us to be not sentimental about our wills. So for me, the original story of this man, you shouldn't believe that at any point in time, your children will be better off with your brother than your wife. It means that the marriage itself had issues. There wasn't trust in that marriage from the get-go. That you did not trust your wife to take care of your children, but you trust your brothers to take care of your children more than the mother of the child. If it is like if it's a blended family where there are other children from other women, I can even understand, but there is all shades of lack of trust in that. Now, specific story of the scenario that Murayo painted, which is maybe a new wife of 2 years wasn't there with the man all through the hustling stage. I feel that many people don't even update their will. You know, many people don't check on these things. So maybe you write a will and 5 years, circumstances have changed. We need to always update and ensure. Will is not that you're preparing to die. Will is that you are preparing the best life after anything happens to you. So for me, the woman shouldn't contest. Have the strength to move on. And another thing I would say is families should be fair. So even if they give the entire thing to the family and say family alone, enjoy the property. The family knows that this woman has been in this household for 2 years.
Yes.
If she was a good woman, they would protect her. They should protect her and give her something from the properties.
What does we build together mean? Let's define it. What does it mean? What does we build it together? Because you're a man, you're single. It's your job to bring in a wife. So she's there. Maybe she doesn't work, and she doesn't want to work or something.
Let me define build.
So how do we build together? I can contest it that we didn't build this thing together because the idea of the business is mine. I did the contract myself. And you were home, not. How do you define building together?
Okay, if you had started paying me, let me know I came to do a job for you now. I'm house help. Just employ me. Let me come. I'll be servicing you. I'll be taking care of your children. I'll be cleaning your house, and you pay me my due. As a graduate, I know how much I'll peg for that sort of job. So that if anything happens, I don't own anything. I'm working, and I have the right to save my money and use it how I want and build my own. Because you are taking somebody's life. We're in this together. You didn't have anything when we started. You had a job, I had a job. We're pulling resources together.
That's what working together
whether you're doing business or not, I'm working in an office or not. We're building together. We are growing our economy together. So that's the meaning of building together. Even if I did not work and I was a full-time housewife, and I was taking care of the children, the peace you have, cooking the food for you to eat, planning the meals. Right now, I have headache thinking of what will Oga eat today that he will not complain. It's a lot of work on me. And I do that for years, helping you to grow and be fruitful, praying for you. You say I did not contribute.
Praying for you. But what is it? Why is a man, I'll come to our caller in a second. Why is a man afraid of his wealth going to another man? That's the question I want us to discuss.
Let's not go there.
Good morning, Ade. Are you there? In the UK. Hello? Hello, Ade, you're live. Hello? Oh, I really want to hear. No. Hello, Ade, are you there?
No. I think there's hope for, I wanted to say when talked earlier, there's hope for a woman who's young in marriage and the husband had a will.
Hello?
That he didn't
update. Ade, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we've been trying to reach you. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
We can hear you very clearly. Please go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Nima. You're saying.
So they had the will that he did not update. Let's assume that she's a young wife and then she has a small child. Go under the administration of estates law, I think in Lagos, but I know I'm certain of that for Kwara, and show that you're dependent on that man. Family members cannot say you're a stranger, go and say no more because your husband has died. They must provide for you your maintenance, and the court will then declare that under that act. But for building together, there are funny ways in the precedents that we have that the courts have decided that for some women, just being peace at home and taking care of children. Yes. In some funny cases, we've seen them getting judgment. Some, you must show that you advance, that your husband's means at the time of starting the business, either you were contributing with yourself or with your money, as your means, adding your own support to that business to show that you build together. You don't just build together by being in a person's life.
My question, Nima, when you say I love you, I love a woman, to return, and I love you totally and completely, and I marry you. Sometimes then, unfortunately, the person now dies. Why are you afraid that her new husband will take your property? Why is that a problem for you as a man?
The woman you love is not your husband. See, it's the woman you love is not your husband. No man wants. No man is hoping.
But that new husband makes her happy. Makes the woman you love very happy.
So the ideal situation is that if a man has died, he has moved on. He should just, let's even say, why would this happen? Is maybe a man is already sick or he's been told that he's going to die. So he would not have quickly time to put his will together. But if a sudden death situation happens, or maybe an older man marries a younger woman, of course the old man does not want, he knows that the woman married him for money or something, and he does not want you to now take the wealth that I've hustled for to another man. It's part of the jealousy, it's part of the ego, it's part of the pride that a man has. They don't want to share. Men don't like sharing. It's the same way they are against. It's the same way they are against you cheating or something happening. So in their mind, I own you, you are mine for life. Now, in that case, there's a case of will to say it will not go to the other man. And I think it is right. Every man should hustle and face his own.
Okay, let me come to Gina on this.
Yeah, so I still think, I said in that first case that we humans really need to work on ourselves. Yeah. Why am I worried about what's going to happen after I am not there?
Beyond your control.
It's beyond. I should even have gone to the heavenlies. We are singing hallelujah upstairs. You
focus on the hallelujah.
You put downstairs, take care of yourselves. You understand? The most important thing to me then is now these people that I call my loved ones. How are you faring? How happy are you now? If I was a man and I feel like my wife will be happier, at least there should be someone who will take care of her if she wants to. That shouldn't be my problem in heaven.
But your property that you work for will now go to that man. Is that okay with you?
Why didn't you take your property when you were going to heaven?
Gina, I disagree.
No. Let me come to this.
Men and your children are naturally selfish, very selfish. And that part of till death do us part, they don't hear that part when they are married. No. They remove that part in their own mind. Till death do us together, everywhere. So if you remarry after they are gone, they have a problem. If they are not having the problem through spiritual attack, the family members are having the problem. But when they die, or when you die, and
2 weeks,
2 months, 2 years. Hey, men they don't survive. They don't survive when there's no woman. They will give, if they don't want, family will bring a woman for them. Yeah. They are not bothered about how will my wife in heaven feel that I have somebody now, Kwanji my Congo. How will they feel? They are very selfish. That's just the thing. So, because I'm wondering how, I remember I was having a conversation recently, and I was saying to my husband, I said, you are a very good man. You have been an amazing husband to me. If God tells me that I will go first before you, I'll say, give me time. Let me find a proper babe that will take care of you, because I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to feel bad. He was upset that I even mentioned that kind of thing. Do you know what he now said? So you are thinking that if I go first, you will not get somebody that was how I was now apologizing for weeks. No, I'm trying to take care of you. No, he took it the other way. So men are naturally selfish. That's where it goes.
So you guys
but we need to understand
how much trouble we have as women.
We need to understand that when you are gone, you are gone. What happens after you're gone shouldn't be any of your business. Just do the best you can do when you have life.
It is.
To some extent, it should be. My late dad used to say that until I'm done giving you all what I need to do. And fortunately, before he died, his last born, everybody was already doing well. It is that place that you have peace of mind to say you cannot control. I'm sure that you will not want to die and leave your children less than 18 or even less than a certain age, helpless because of some indecisions or some wrong decisions that you took. So, Madam cannot carry my suffer to marry another man. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Let's even assume that we work together. You cannot just move on when because the goal is that I don't want to leave my dependents helpless.
Then don't die. Why do you think don't die?
So you put, that's why you use an instrument.
You cannot die and be fighting when you're not there.
No, you have to protect your dependents. The man that marries a woman.
I can't hear anybody anymore.
Okay.
The man that marries a woman, if you have married and you have a property that you have acquired together, you can't transfer to another man you just married. The man should face his own and build his own.
Okay, my own question is, why do people think, or why do they think if the woman marries another person, she's throwing her children away?
Because sometimes it happens.
Women, I just told you my auntie now. I tell you person story.
Why don't you think she might be marrying that person for more protection
for her children?
I told you
there are many cases.
That's another angle.
A woman, a widow woman, is vulnerable just as a man. And at that point, anybody can be calculated and say, okay, you have an estate at your beck and call, and then act nice and all of that. And because anything can go wrong. If you know you're not married to a strong woman, strong-headed woman, provide instruments for your children. Education, trust, insurance, and all of that. Life insurance. Make sure that you put your children's name. Don't let your wife
unfortunately, we have to let me let Gina have the final word.
I think the final word is, women, you have to be strong. Allow your husband trust you enough. Let him see what you can do, the things you can do on your own. That way, maybe if he's dying, he will sleep well and just join the angels. But you understand?
On that note, tell us what you're working on.
Okay, so the Foodaholic Festival. December 11th.
Foodaholic.
Foodaholic Festival. It's a food festival for the whole family. 11th December at NBC Kano Park. Yeah, there are a lot of food vendors there, brand sampling, fantastic games, team competitions, cooking competitions. Wow. It's packed full for the family.
So come hungry.
Whole day. Come hungry. Come hungry.
Yeah,
because
clear your stomach.
I'll bring a card. I'll carry you back. Yeah, so please, I would like to see everybody there. Yeah,
be there.
Come with your family and friends. Thank you so much.
Okay. I hope you've learned a few things as we have in the first case. What was our first topic again? The car matter.
Man that can even
please know the husband you are married. If you have find if your husband is the calm one, collect all the gifts from your family. If you want to pay a strong ego, they chase him. Just calm down.
Take him to therapy.
Gradually walk at his pace and pray to God that God will give acceleration. But just walk at your husband's pace, please. And then on this part, please, inheritance. Leave, take care of your dependents. I think that's one of the things. No matter what position you're in, take care of your dependents. That's the most important thing. Have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.